For those who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, my background was in the revenue management space, specifically in hotel management. And what we would look at quite regularly is each segment of the hotel, of our revenues. And we would look at each segment and make sure that we're getting the most out of each segment. And why we would do that would be there's no real point of marketing, spending money on marketing to drive new revenue if we're not really squeezing everything out of our current segments. So don't just keep throwing money at the wind and hoping that you're going to get a result. Work with what you've got already, make sure you do it really well, and you're providing the best service possible already to those already loyal customers. So we would go through each segment and make sure we're getting the most out of each segment. And one thing I noticed when I transitioned into the automotive space, and especially with dealers, is that every day they're getting customers coming through, and this is in the service lane. Some dealerships are getting 100 vehicles coming in just for their mechanical scheduled service. And they're coming in with a purpose, dropping their car off, picking it up in the afternoon, and they're out the door, and you don't see them for another 6 months, 12 months. And I saw a lot of wasted opportunity in that. And there is probably a lot of dealers out there that do really well at this. And I love to hear from you the wins that you've got if you do, because I'm actually genuinely interested in how that all works. So how I really gelled with what we do at CMT Scanner is that essentially we provide AI computer vision technology to do what a human could do anyway, but at scale. So as a vehicle comes through the service lane, it can look at the vehicle in its holistic condition, and see if there's anything that can be added to that customer journey. So it may be dent repair, it may be rim repair, it may be a new tire, it may just be simply looking at the vehicle as a whole to document the condition of it, to appraise the vehicle, for example, and have that customer be aware of the value of their vehicle. Now, I wanted to touch on today an example of how dealers are leveraging this technology within their business to diversify their service offering. One piece that came out of AADA was that once EVs become mainstream, the back-end revenue will drop. That's just a fact. And there needs to be a plan to mitigate that revenue drop. So what we want to do for dealers is be able to provide that technology to be able to, whatever it may be, however they want to mitigate that revenue, but be able to help them do that at scale without having to put more resources towards it, to put more costs towards it, and focused on how to drive new revenue. I guess painless dent removal is just one of the options that we're seeing dealers take up with this technology. So zero claims, as I mentioned before, taking a full 360-degree image of each vehicle as it arrives to immediately reduce that bottom line cost to your P&L of any rogue damage claims that you may be rectifying, that customers may be saying that scratch wasn't there when I dropped it off, and you're having to rectify it to maintain the relationship. If we can take a really high definition quality of every arrival, it just brings more transparency, more trust. I know when I'm dropping my vehicle off for a service and the service advisor's going around with their iPad taking pictures, it's like that rental car company feeling where they're taking it because they don't trust you. It just takes that away and just builds, I guess, the perception of we really care about your car. We're going to give it back to you in the exact same, if not better condition than what it arrived at. So zero claims, producing an immediate bottom line reduction to the P&L. Instant appraisals, so having that full 360 degree conditional report, that can then integrate into your appraisal system, and you can start offering immediate autonomous appraisals to the service lane. And the idea behind that is to, again, it comes back to that customer life cycle journey, being able to transition that service into a trade-in, so you're increasing your supply, and also trading that vehicle in, or that customer trading that vehicle in and going into a new car and starting their customer journey and that relationship with the dealer. Similar to PDR, and express anything express that you would like to offer on the same day as that service. And examples are PDR, rim damage repair. There's some really good technology out there now that allows for quick diamond cutting of rims that can be offered, and tires. We all know that we can offer tires, but it without having to physically inspect every tire, we can be transparent with the customer and say, hey, there's this much depth left on there. We can do that today for you for X. And I think a lot of these things, customers aren't aware that they can get that done on the same day during that same service. So it's bringing a lot of convenience to the customer, and rather than having them to go to multiple different locations, they can get that all done at your service center. Now, one additional revenue stream that we're seeing dealers take on with the emergence of AI and computer vision technology is paintless dent removal. No longer do you need a qualified assessor or a quota looking at each individual vehicle. We can do that through computer vision. So if we can have computer vision look at, so we've got a service center that does 80 vehicle or 80 arrivals a day. Let's have computer vision inspect those 80 vehicles as they drive through. So autonomously matching it through their registration. And in the example of PDR, we've found, based on our first quarter of 2023, is that 70% of those 80 vehicles have dents in them which can be express repaired. And when I say express repaired, I mean dents that can be fixed in less than 90 minutes. So they can be done on the same day and won't affect the scheduled servicing. So we've got 70% of those vehicles, which is 56 vehicles, that we can provide quotes to our customers for. And in the first quarter of 2023, we saw a 20% conversion on that 56, which led us to 11 repairs a day. The average repair is retailed at $175. So that's producing an additional $1,900 per day in incremental revenue that we didn't have before. And the beauty is that this didn't take any additional marketing or resourcing. It was purely coming from the customers that were coming through the door anyway. So that's the beauty of offering services to within the service lane. And then if we break that down, that 1,900 into a monthly figure, so 22 days of a working month, we're looking at $42,000 a month and $500,000 a year. That's just one example of a service center producing 80 ROs a day. Similar concept when we look at rim damage. The average repair of a rim, you'll be going from $175 to $250 a rim. So there's that multiplication of that. You've got tires. We can look at depth of tires. We can look at instantly appraising a vehicle as it enters the service lane, so you can focus on transitioning that service appointment into a new car sale and increasing your stock by trading that vehicle in. There's so many different ways that we can leverage computer vision technology and not having to increase marketing or really anything from a spend point of view. As I mentioned before, I'm really passionate in this space about diving deep into a business and looking for new opportunities or new ways to drive revenue. So if you are interested in exploring that, please get in touch. I'm happy to spend some time just brainstorming, really, as it's definitely a passion of mine. So I hope to speak to you soon.